darlings. This is Katerina Satori. And I was driving to Whole Foods and pulled my car into the parking lot and just decided to do this very, very brief video about feeling your way into ascension. Hi, darlings. How are you feeling? It's gonna be it's been such a powerful topic for me, so I'm gonna let more people join. So good to see you. Welcome, darlings. Welcome. Let me know in the comments, how is your feeling body? How is your astral body? If you remember, if some of you were at my broadcast about the 7 planes of existence, I was sharing with you that collective is going through the astral purge. It's emotional purge in the collective, right? Hi, darlings. And I've missed you too. I've missed you too. Oh, Michelle. Hello, darlings. Fiona, good to see you. So, my loves, I always keep it real with you. And, there were times in my life where I thought strength meant not feeling my feelings. Strength was thinking my way through life. And I'm so glad that those days are gone, because when I allowed myself to feel what I feel, life became so rich in the emotional range. So I wanted to share with you my process, how turbulence, the emotional turbulence that comes. And the more sensitive you are, the more aware you are. If you've been practicing mindfulness, you've been practicing some, tools like spiritual work and spiritual tools, you feel less and less separation from the collective. You begin to remember that collective is your larger body, right? So there'll be days, where whatever the wave is going through the collective, you are going to run it through your body in a way. So when I go through that, my mind fights it, and my mind wants me to be always on, always productive, always focused. But emotional body sometimes does not have that plan. So, feeling our way through ascension was an idea that I got from an amazing book called Oneness. If you just Google Oneness, it's a beautiful book, like this big, but very easy to read. And there was this one phrase that really stood out for me, and it's, we must learn how to feel our way through ascension. If previous years we were thinking our way, thinking about enlightenment, thinking about ascension, right? Like, it's a great idea. One time I'm going to ascend into a different dimension, 5D consciousness. Now we are going through this accelerated birth canal of a new birth, of a new human, of a new consciousness. And the way we do it is by being courageous to feel what we feel. And the only way we can heal anything is by feeling it. So if the fear comes up, which is very natural human emotion, my way of working with fear, I teach workshops on that, teach classes and courses on fear, right? But one of the simple tools that I always share, any difficult emotion, fear, anger, grief, they're usually tough to go through them. I visualize when I feel it, I imagine I can find the core of that emotion. I find it, so where it's in my body. The very first step is to find it in my body. Where is it condensed, right? And if I can find it in my body, I take all of my awareness and I begin to meet that emotion. I actually, instead of turning away from it, right? Instead of trying to not to think about what I feel, I move towards it. And it's one of the Sufi principles of meeting everything in life as a friend. Everything in life is a friend. Meeting every difficulty as a friend. Every wave of uncertainty as a friend. So I really love that approach. You're not turning away, you're turning towards. And it's like a miracle happen the moment you begin to merge with your fear, or with your anxiety, or with your worry, any emotion that's difficult to feel, it begins to open up to you. And another step, I ask that emotion and I say, please reveal me your secret. Tell me your story. Where you've been hiding. Tell me your story. And I invite that emotion and I say, it's okay. It's safe. I'm willing to feel you. And it's a beautiful process of intimacy with your soul. You begin to uncover these emotional depths of your being that maybe were not safe for you to feel when you were little. And you begin to see these deep, deep emotional waves within you. And it makes you a richer, emotionally richer human being. It makes you more compassionate human being. It makes you more authentic human being. You know, nothing, I hold a vision for us as leaders in our community to share more and more of our humanity, of our human selves. And a lot of times, you know, when you are in leadership or if you are in service to others, you have clients, you have people that you work with, or you have children. Like if you are a parent going through this global pause, my hat is off to you. If you have been challenged by having very little personal space, my hat is off to you. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I honor you for every ounce of courage that you're able to find in your soul to feel what you feel and to allow those experiences to teach you a new way of building intimacy with your soul. So, darlings, the very first one is merging with the emotion, all right? Just merging with it. And if you have a whole day that, you know, you wanted to get so much done and you woke up with a cloud above your head, that's the emotional alchemy day. I used to call them unproductive days. What if they are emotional alchemy days? And when we begin to value our being as much as we value our doing, we begin to integrate our inner feminine and our inner masculine. So for many, many years, we have lived in an over masculine society, right? Yang versus yin. And we require both. Both polarities are so important. But right now we are being invited by the universe to connect with that inner receptivity, right? And inner receptivity and presence to everything that we feel. So I find a great wisdom in those words that we get to feel our way through ascension. Every time you are courageously feeling your inner world, your consciousness going through ascension. Ascension is a moment-by-moment experience where you are ascending in your understanding what is occurring in your reality. So I wanted to take this, to do this very short video on my way to Whole Foods. On the way to Whole Foods, you know, and when I share the post about anger, darlings, anger is not an easy emotion for me to access until somebody really crosses me and my Russian warrior comes out, you know. But it's not an emotion that was very safe for me to feel when I was a child. I grew up with occasional sprints of domestic violence and alcoholism. So, you know, I was learned to be a caretaker and a peacemaker. And what is happening right now in this global pause has been really inviting me to re-examine my understanding of the value of anger as a very, very natural human emotion. So when I feel anger, you know, about these rules that don't make sense to me, that being imposed in our country, I am totally fine following rules that make sense to me. If they don't make sense to me, it's a tougher to navigate, let's say. So the same process as I work with fear, I feel anger, I find it in my body. And instead of turning away from it and allowing it to be suppressed and turning it into What does anger turns if it's not repressed? Probably sadness. Yeah, sadness or pain, agitated pain, right? So it's a very courageous process, to meet your emotions with like a friend. And you begin to learn from that, right? You can begin to learn from that. So there is a great book that was recommended to me by an incredible teacher, and it's called The Wild Edge of Sorrow. Somebody is leaving me messages, so I'm removing them. The Wild Edge of Sorrow, darlings. It's a phenomenal book. And it teaches you this approach of learning to court your grief. When the first time I heard it, it was a paradigm shift for me, because I, 39 years of my life, I had this understanding that grief is something that you move through. It's not something that you build a relationship with. And that brilliant book was written by a grief researcher. He was basically saying that love and grief are two sides of the same coin. The deeper you open your heart to love, you can count on the deepest level of grief will come, because love and loss come together, right? And so that's the book that I recommend. That's the book that I have been leaning into and building my relationship with these feelings in a new way. So every time you're courageously willing to feel what you feel, you're not only healing your inner world, but you're also making a powerful contribution to the ascension of humanity. We've been, as a collective, we've been deep in emotionally dark ages. We've been worshiping intellect. We've been worshiping productivity. Our value was based on how much we produce. Imagine our values being shifted, and our value begins how deep we can feel, and how brave we can feel, and how much are we willing to heal. And that's how we feel our collective body, which is a bigger body of you. I love you, darlings. I just shared a post right underneath this video about, it's a short audio, it's 8 minutes long. I channeled it last night. It just came through very late in the evening, and it's a gift for you from my heart. I hope that it supports your soul, and so you don't feel like alone, and you don't feel like you are not evolved enough. If the tidal emotional wave is just sweeps you off your feet, I feel that too, right? And I'm with you, darlings, and it's a profound experience of building this new intimacy with our soul. And I see you, I honor you. Thank you for your beautiful work, and thank you for surrendering to those unproductive days when Spirit is asking you to hold space for the collective and to dive into your emotional alchemy. And the more you do that work, and the more you know what I find, darlings, you're gonna find your own process with it. What I find, I'm always rewarded. When I'm willing to do this emotional work, I'm always rewarded, either by illumination or a new epiphany, completely new insight that comes my way, or a wave of good fortune, a synchronicity, and maybe it's because the more I heal what I feel, the more I liberate the space for my oversoul to upload more of my soul power. So many, many benefits. All right, I did not mean to do this live stream so long, but I have missed you. I have missed you. I have missed you. I love you so much. And I'm gonna go and get some foods in the Whole Foods. Look at the mask that I got, darlings. It's a sparkly, fashionable mask. I can barely breathe in this thing. And you can't access Whole Foods without the freaking mask. and makes me sad, makes me angry at times, you know what I mean? And being with it, accepting what is. And one thing that I'll share with you, I'll let you go, darlings, is up until 2 days ago, I didn't realize that I wasn't in full acceptance with what is. And finally I saw it. I was like, I did not accept what is. So now I'm merging. I'm choose to merge with what's arising in my reality without being in resistance to it. And it's a process, loves. It's a process. Sometimes I find myself so pissed at these freaking masks. And sometimes, and I look at that, I'm like, oh, look at this part of yourself. Right? And be with that. And be with that. I love honesty and authenticity and being radically honest with my own inner being. And I can build from there, you know, I can build from there. I can find my way through compassion. But if I'm not honest with how I feel, you know, I just breathe resentment. So, yeah, I love you, darlings. I love you. It's so funny. I'm in the parking lot and people came here with kids and bikes and everything. It's like a new park in the parking lot. So yes, Bobby, all things have a right to exist. You know who taught that, right? Yvonne de la Flor. Yes. I love you, darlings. I hope my share brought a little light to your heart, that you know that you are not alone, and it's absolutely normal to feel these waves that we're going through. And I see you, and thank you for your willingness to do this deep inner emotional alchemy. And check out the audio right underneath this video. There's a post, and I hope that audio will feel like a nourishment for your heart. Katie, yay, I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.